very much. Happy Sunday, good afternoon. Let me make sure my 3 different devices are all turned off because they will ring. So first of all, congratulations to each and every student leader today that's been inducted to the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. A few years ago, I had the great fortune of meeting one of your colleagues. As a matter of fact, I met him on a flight from Toronto to Seattle, Dr. Michael Odu. He's the Dean of School of Mathematics and Science and Engineering at Southwestern College. And he's Phi Theta Kappa's Honor Society Board of Directors. We had a very, very long conversation on this over 6-hour flight from Toronto to Seattle. And he challenged me to reconsider at that time what I understood leadership to be. So I'm here today to share a bit of my leadership journey with you. I want to challenge you to discover what will shape you as a student leader. And I want you to know now what Dr. Odu taught me on that very, very, very long flight. When this talk is over, you'll know exactly what it takes to profoundly and positively impact your families, your school, and your communities as a student leader today, and more importantly, as a life leader tomorrow. The first thing I'm going to tell you is very important, because I don't want you to ever forget this. As a matter of fact, this is an opportunity. If you have your phones close by, pull them out, because this is one of those tweetable, snapshotable moments. You want to remember this. You don't ever want to forget this. All right. Hashtag, leadership is not a title. Hashtag, Roquita said so. Hashtag, leadership is not a title. Again, leadership is not a title. Leadership is a thing that happens when you have the following qualities. First one is courage. Goal setting. When you're competing for the greater good. When you make a lifetime commitment to learning. And finally, when you have a positive relationship, the ability to have a positive relationship building. So first of all, courage. Courage is the thing that I've needed most, but I've had to work the hardest in for my leadership story. I am a national award-winning professional, an author, and a speaker. I govern Tennessee's largest transit system, and I have 20 years of progressive success in my career as a transportation professional and as a railroader. To get to stand before you, I've needed courage to make the right decisions, no matter how comfortable it made me feel. One of those decisions is telling the story of how I moved from the housing projects of 38126. If my family were still in the housing projects today, their annual income would be $5,230 a year. That is the environment that I grew up in. So it took an enormous amount of courage to tell the story of how I moved from a considerable poverty to a place of privilege where now I govern a $60 million transportation system. You will need courage to overcome the times when fear wants to take charge of your life. Courage is carrying the light of wisdom, discovery, and truth, even when you're afraid. Courage, unlike the lights that you carry in your hands, can never be extinguished in your leadership journey. When you choose courage, you lead. So now I'm going to ask for a little bit of engagement because I want you guys to remember these qualities. So I'm going to say that again, and I want you to repeat after me. When I choose courage, I lead.
When I choose courage, I lead.
Number 2, goal setting.
Goal setting.
Well, not that part. Thank you. I know you guys are with me this Sunday. Thank you. Number 2 we're going to talk about is goal setting. So I've had a lot of jobs. Most leaders do. One of my jobs is as a railroader. I work in sales and marketing role developing long-term strategies to increase the amount of business that moves over the rail system. My title is a solutions manager, but my leadership does not come from the title. It comes from setting goals and executing a plan against those goals consistently, year over year, without failure. When you choose goal setting, you lead. Repeat after me. When I choose goal setting, I lead.
When I choose goal setting, I lead.
Now I'm going to talk and you're not going to repeat. Number 3, competing for the greater good. Leadership is not always about what you're doing, but it's about why you're doing it. When Mary Grace Henry learned that African girls were forced into marriage and denied access, she used a sewing machine that she received as a Christmas gift to start her own accessory business. Hair accessories is a hugely competitive business with a failure rate of over 70%. But it wasn't about the hair accessories. She wanted young African girls to believe they could become leaders. Today, her hairline, Reverse the Course, has funded a total of 54 girls through scholarship and now sells more than 11,000 items. Like many leaders, Mary Grace focused her competitiveness on the greater good so that it can make her a successful leader. When you compete for the greater good, you lead. Repeat after me. When I compete for the greater good, I lead.
When I compete for the greater good, I lead.
Number 4, make a lifetime commitment to learn. So this is one of those things that I learned from my father, who, by the way, was never really impressed with me. So I appreciate every opportunity I get to be in a room with people who look at my bio and think it's impressive, because my father was a mathematician for Southwest Community College for 16 years. And no matter what I accomplished, he would tell me the same thing. Don't be so proud of yourself, because without the dull bulbs, you wouldn't be so bright. Now, I never really knew what that meant. I never knew what that meant. I had no concept for what he was really trying to tell me. What he was saying, unless I made a commitment to learn and grow all the time, there was always going to be someone in the room that was less bright than I was. And unless I made a decision to be amongst people who were equally as bright, I wasn't going to be that impressive to him. When you make a lifetime commitment to learn, it requires that you be open to critique. One of my favorite quotes these days comes from Melissa Harris Perry. Melissa is best known as the journalist of television host MSNBC. She was also mentored by Maya Angelou. Melissa says, all critics aren't haters. My dad was not a hater. But what he did teach me is that I could not outgrow the room to learn, and I could not ever accomplish or achieve enough where he was not going to put his hands on me to make sure that there was a criticism there, a critical, productive criticism to allow me to have perspective. When I was 21 years old, I started my first job in management with UPS. I was the youngest person on staff. I'm 42 today, by the way. I know, most of us look like somebody's student myself, so I have to go ahead and put that out there. I was the only African American on the team, and I worked hard. I led a team of people, 7 people, and we did a phenomenal job. We made $100 million in business. But I can remember my senior manager one day, he pointed out my southern accent and the fact that I pronounced the words like ask, I would say ass, or specifically. Business was a struggle. It was business. It was business. And some days, it's still business. But here I was effectively managing people at such a young age, and I thought, how petty is this guy to point out and criticize my southern tongue with all that I've accomplished in my life? But the reality is, he wanted me to be taken seriously. He knew the audience that I was talking to. He knew my target audience better than me because he was a middle-aged white guy. And my target audience in transportation was middle-aged white men. And so he knew better than I did how I was being received as a 21-year-old who could not say the word business. He knew how I was being received, and he knew no matter how intelligent I was, that there was going to be some issues I would have to overcome in order to be taken seriously, and he did not want that to be difficult to me. So while I was busy being offended at the time, there was a teachable, learnable moment there for me that I then misunderstood. When you're open to critique, you lead. Repeat after me. When I'm open to critique, I lead.
When I'm open to critique, I lead.
Number 5, positive relationship building. So I love Alicia Cara's story. She has a song called Scars to Your Beautiful. I would sing it, but my daddy, in all of his infinite wisdom, told me very young to stick with being an engineer. Thank the Lord that we were open to critique, so I will not sing that today. But her amazing lyrics on self-acceptance and inspiring girls across the world. Her success started pretty recently in 2015. She had to overcome a huge insecurity though. She's been losing her hair since elementary school. And we love our hair, right? Even if we have to go buy some, we love our hair. So the fact that she had patches patches of hair missing at times. She says she spent hours trying to find styles to cover up these bald spots. It was a tremendous insecurity for her. But to be in the public eye, she had to be comfortable being 100% authentic. The relationships that she built with fellow superstars, Adele and Taylor Swift, helped her considerably. Those relationships helped her overcome something that could have stopped her from living her dream. Being in a relationship with people who supported her helped her to live her dream. Now she's doing a song with her icon Rihanna. She's gone from a YouTube video star in 2 years to being a superstar because she built relationships that positively influenced her. When you build relationships that positively influence others, that's when you lead. Repeat after me. When I build relationships that positively influence, I lead.
When I build relationships that positively influence, I lead.
In summary, age has nothing to do with your ability to lead. You are each filled with inspiration, aspiration, and creative thinking that many adults like me could benefit from. You have audacity to imagine where I'm not afraid to. You guys can write your own leadership stories and go way past the progress that any of us could envision. You have to build the superpowers to grow and blow us old leaders all the way out of the water. You lead when you have courage, goal setting, when you compete for the greater good, you make a lifetime commitment to learn, and you have the ability to positively build relationships. Congratulations on your induction to Phi Theta Kappa. Please take a look at my book, Storyalities, about my own story from considerable poverty to being in a place of having a considerable economic impact in this city. I thank you very, very much for inviting me to speak to you today, and it has been a privilege. Happy Sunday.